It must be compatible with a multilateral trading system that supports a developmental agenda, the type of developmental agenda that the 5 countries that are members of BRICS have embraced right from the onset. We require a fundamental reform of the global financial institutions so that they can be more agile and responsive to the challenges facing developing economies. In this respect, the new development bank, established by BRICS countries in 2015, is leading the way. Since its formation, it has demonstrated its ability to mobilize resources for infrastructure and sustainable development in emerging economies without conditionalities. Earlier, before coming into the session, I was speaking to the president of the New Development Bank, and she was outlining to me how ready and the New Development Bank is in terms of supporting the development agendas of various countries. And we applaud this, and we appreciate this. BRICS economies have emerged as powerful engines of global growth. Yet the rapid economic, technological, social changes underway create new risks for areas such as employment, equality, as well as poverty in many of the BRICS countries. It is quite heartwarming to hear you as business people, as one listened to Mr. Chabalala's report, also focusing on issues such as poverty reduction and elimination, and inequality as well. It isn't often that you hear such very positive and forward-looking messages from the business community. So it's wonderful to be in a forum under the aegis of BRICS that you as business leaders are in tune with the developmental agenda that needs to be pursued to lift the people who live in BRICS countries and beyond out of the ravages of poverty and inequality. We therefore call on the business community to join hands with us to identify solutions to these and many other challenges affecting our respective economies. From a South African perspective, there is massive untapped potential for investment in our country and indeed on the African continent as well. In recognition of this potential, the theme for this 15th BRICS Summit is BRICS and Africa, the partnership for mutually accelerated growth, sustainable development, and inclusive multilateralism. Africa is a continent of great opportunity in industrialization process in a variety of sectors. This continent is rich in the critical minerals that will drive business success in the 21st century. The continent has resources of lithium, vanadium, cobalt, platinum, palladium, nickel, copper, rare earth minerals, rhodium, and many others. And these are the minerals that abound and are driving economic activity across the world. African countries have made it clear that the investors of choice, those who will come and invest in our continent, but also process the resources here close to source, so that African countries do not export rock and sand, but export finished products as we would like to do. We are developing stronger regional value chains that will connect a number of African countries, providing investors with diversity, with strength, as well as with resilience. The African Continental Free Trade Area creates a single market that is expected to grow to 1.7 billion people and nearly $7 trillion in consumer and business spending by 2030. The success of the African Continental Free Trade Area will require a massive investment in infrastructure. We need to mobilize the substantial financing that is needed to build the roads, the ports, the rail, energy and telecommunications network that will enable industrialization and trade. It is also pleasing to hear that you, as the business community, you also see this area as opportunities that you can invest in. Growth in African economies will be driven in the main by small and medium enterprises. This requires focused as well as effective support to these businesses. It is important that specific financing be directed also to women-owned businesses so that they can harness the benefits of the Continental Free Trade Area. And we in Africa, as we seek to grow and develop, we are focusing on the empowerment of the women of our continent who have been held back through the years of colonialism, and in our case, through the years of apartheid, through protocols and laws. And we are saying we need to free the women of our continent so that they can trade, so that they can be in business and grow the economies of our various countries. Africa has a young, digitally connected and urbanizing population, a population which provides a stable workforce for companies in the future. The investment in skills development is continuing to grow. These factors all position Africa as the next frontier of productivity and growth. The BRICS countries have an opportunity to contribute to and participate in Africa's growth story. This can be achieved through greater cooperation in areas such as infrastructure, agriculture, manufacturing, new energy, and the digital economy. I was pleased to hear that these are also areas that you as business people are focusing on. South Africa has an important position in growing the African market, facilitated by the Africa Continental Free Trade Area and other free trade agreements. South Africa's industrial strength, our mineral endowments, and our large market opportunities provides a compelling value proposition for companies wanting to establish their businesses here. South Africa has significant industrial capacity with Africa's most advanced industrial innovation and fabrication base. Firms that have invested here recognize that South Africa has deep local capital markets and strong financial systems. We have a diverse and sophisticated economy, and this country possesses world-class infrastructure, skills, abundant natural resources, industrial clusters, and a host of incentives to support investment. And many investment and partnership opportunities exist in renewable energy, in infrastructure, in aquaculture, in ICT, automotives, pharmaceuticals, and advanced manufacturing, amongst others. It is clear from the report that we have just received that this has been a very productive business forum. And I'd like, as I end, to commend the BRICS Business Council, the respective ministers from the BRICS countries and officials, and all business leaders who have made a meaningful contribution for the success of this business forum, and to have all of you, almost 1,500, I'm told, to have this, what I see as a very successful business forum. I sincerely hope that your participation in this BRICS Business Forum will yield the productive outcomes that are required for us to catapult BRICS economies towards a more equitable and accelerated growth. In 2 hours or so, the BRICS leaders will sit together in a retreat to discuss a number of BRICS-related matters, and one of those is the expansion of BRICS. A number of countries, some of which are represented here, are seeking to be part of this BRICS family. And we appreciate that. It goes to show that the BRICS family is growing in its importance, in its stature, and also in its influence in the world. And we will be taking into account the various desires of various countries to be part of BRICS. So we hope to take into account the report or discussions here as well as we consider the way forward with BRICS. Your participation here really strengthens the BRICS story. It confirms that BRICS is an important player in the geopolitical and economic architecture of the world. And so we hope that it will continue to be so. Thank you very much for participating. We thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, for those remarks. It is now my pleasure to invite the President of the Federative Republic of Brazil, His Excellency President Lula da Silva, to take the podium. Please join me in welcoming the President.
Gostaria de cumprimentar o presidente Ramaphosa, presidente da África do Sul. Gostaria de cumprimentar os ministros, de cumprimentar a presidenta do novo Banco Cooperativo, Dilma Rousseff. Gostaria de cumprimentar os empresários e as empresárias aqui presentes. E gostaria, sobretudo, de saudar o governo sul-americano pela realização desse fórum empresarial. Quero expressar a minha satisfação por compartilhar este evento com os demais líderes dos países dos BRICS. Agradeço também a todos os empresários e empresárias presentes, em especial a direção do Conselho Empresarial, que completa 10 anos. O estabelecimento de parcerias entre os setores privados é uma dimensão muito relevante do BRICS, e que dá vida e continuidade às relações entre países. Desde a primeira cúpula de chefes de Estado e de governo, nossa participação na economia global vem se ampliando. Já ultrapassamos o G7. Respondemos por 32% do PIB mundial em paridade de poder de compra. Projeções indicam que os mercados emergentes de desenvolvimento são aqueles que apresentarão maior índice de crescimento nos próximos anos. Segundo o FMI, enquanto os países industrializados devem desacelerar seu crescimento de 2,7% em 2022 para 1,4% em 2024, o crescimento previsto para os países em desenvolvimento é de 4% nesse próximo período. Isso mostra que o dinamismo da economia está no sul global e os BRICS é sua força motriz. O estoque de investimento externo direto do BRICS no Brasil cresceu 167% entre 2012 e 2021, atingindo 34,2 bilhões de dólares. Hoje, quase 400 empresas do bloco operam no Brasil. Depois dos últimos 6 anos de retrocesso e estagnação, o Brasil vai voltar a gerar empregos de qualidade, a combater a pobreza e a aumentar a renda das famílias brasileiras. Apresentei há 2 semanas o novo PAC, Programa de Aceleração do Crescimento. O plano prevê a retomada de empreendimentos paralisados, aceleração dos que estão em andamento e seleção de novos projetos. Trata-se de um programa amplo, com muitas oportunidades que pode interessar aos investidores dos países do BRIC. Esperamos mobilizar 340 bilhões de dólares para a modernização de nossa infraestrutura logística, com investimento em rodovias, ferrovias, hidrovias, portos e aeroportos. Também daremos prioridade à geração de energia solar, eólica, biomassa, etanol e biodiesel. É enorme o nosso potencial de produção de hidrogênio verde. Estabeleceremos parcerias entre o governo e os empresários em todas as áreas, sob forma de concessões, parcerias público-privadas e contratações diretas. Para que o investimento volte a crescer e gerar desenvolvimento, precisamos garantir mais credibilidade, muita previsibilidade e estabilidade jurídica, política e social para o setor privado. Por essa razão, tenho defendido a ideia de adoção de uma unidade de conta de referência para o comércio que não substituirá nossas moedas nacionais. É necessário a necessidade de financiamento não atendida dos países em desenvolvimento continua muito alta. A falta de reformas substantivas das instituições financeiras tradicionais limita o volume e a modalidade de crédito dos bancos já existentes. A decisão de estabelecer um novo Banco de Desenvolvimento representou um marco na colaboração efetiva entre as economias emergentes. Nosso banco conjunto deve ser um líder global do financiamento de projetos que abordem os desafios mais urgentes do nosso tempo. Ao diversificar fontes de pagamento em moedas locais, expandir sua rede de parceiros e ampliar seus membros, o NB constitui uma plataforma estratégica para promover a cooperação entre os países em desenvolvimento. Nessa estratégia, o engajamento com o Banco Africano de Desenvolvimento será central. No plano multilateral, os BRICS se notabilizou por ser uma força que trabalha em prol de um comércio global mais justo, previsível e equitativo. Não podemos aceitar um neocolonialismo verde que impõe barreiras comerciais e medidas discriminatórias sob o pretexto de proteger o meio ambiente. A partir de dezembro, o Brasil ocupará a presidência do G20. A presença de 3 membros dos BRICS na troika do G20 será uma grande oportunidade para avançarmos temas de interesse do Sul Global. Já contamos com a participação da África do Sul, mas a representatividade do grupo será ampliada com o ingresso da União Africana e de outros países do continente. Eu preciso pegar minha água.
It's just a water break.
Eu estou falando de tanto desenvolvimento e, de repente, falta o principal para sobreviver humana, que é a água. Queridos amigos e amigas, ao voltar à presidência do meu país, estou retomando as diretrizes da política externa brasileira. Começamos a reconstruir a integração sul-americana. Retomamos nossas parcerias com os Estados Unidos, a China e a União Europeia. Sediamos a reunião da cúpula dos países amazônicos. Ainda nos faltava o retorno do Brasil à África. É inaceitável que em 2022 o comércio do Brasil com a África tenha diminuído 1/3 com relação a 2013, quando era quase de 30 bilhões de dólares. O fluxo comercial com a África ainda corresponde a 3,5% do comércio exterior do Brasil. Nossa rede de acordos comerciais também é incipiente. Os acordos do Mercosul com a África Austral e com o Egito datam do meu segundo mandato. Hoje, mais de 65% das exportações do Mercosul para a África foram para países com os quais não há acordo em vigor. Há muito espaço para crescer. Além de um passado que nos une, também compartilhamos uma visão comum de futuro. Em meus 2 primeiros mandatos, o continente africano foi uma prioridade. Fiz 12 viagens à África e estive em 21 países. O Brasil está de volta ao continente, de que nunca deveria ter se afastado. A África reúne vastas oportunidades e um enorme potencial de crescimento. Para discutir o relançamento do comércio com o continente, o Brasil reuniu os chefes dos setores de promoção comercial de todas as nossas representações em países africanos, aqui em Joanesburgo, em junho passado. A África está construindo um ambicioso projeto de zona de livre comércio. 54 países, 1,3 bilhões de pessoas e um PIB de mais de 3 trilhões de dólares. Nesse continente, que é o mais jovem do mundo e será o mais populoso em 2100, são inúmeras as oportunidades para produtos brasileiros, como alimentos e bebidas, petróleo, minério de ferro, veículos e manufaturas de ferro e aço. A África tem 65% das terras agricultáveis disponíveis no mundo e forte vocação para ser uma potência agrícola, com capacidade para alimentar seu povo e oferecer soluções para a segurança alimentar global. Aliando investimento e tecnologia, o Brasil desenvolveu técnicas modernas de agricultura tropical que podem ser replicadas com sucesso na África. Por meio da Empresa Brasileira de Pesquisa Agropecuária, fizemos do Cerrado uma área de alta produtividade agrícola e poderemos replicar esta experiência muito bem sucedida na savana africana. Meu governo também retomou as políticas públicas de apoio à agricultura familiar, imprescindível para combater a insegurança alimentar e a fome que atinge nossos continentes. O programa Mais Alimento, que relancei em junho passado, permite que pequenos produtores possam ter acesso a financiamento para a compra de tratores, implementos e colheitadeiras. Assim como no passado, uma versão do Mais Alimento para a África deve ser retomada como mais uma vertente da cooperação sul-sul brasileira. A África também está no coração das transições digitais e energéticas. A cobertura da internet já abrange a maior parte da população africana e se multiplicam centros de inovação digital e empresas de serviços tecnológicos financeiros. O fortalecimento do complexo industrial da saúde brasileiro pode gerar amplas oportunidades de colaboração. Com a América do Sul, o continente africano possui importantes reservas de minerais críticos como lítio e cobalto que desempenharão um papel estratégico. Para não permanecermos como meros exportadores de produtos primários, devemos aproveitar para forjar a integração de nossas cadeias produtivas e agregar valor aos bens e serviços que produzimos de forma sustentável. A África é a região do mundo que menos emite gás de efeito estufa. Nem por isso deixa de enfrentar as consequências mais perversas do aquecimento global, como secas, inundações, incêndios e ciclones. O Brasil e vários países africanos pôs planos abrangentes de renovação de suas matrizes energéticas. Compartilhamos a responsabilidade de cuidar das florestas tropicais e preservar a biodiversidade. Temos em comum a preocupação de combater o processo de desertificação. Os serviços ambientais e ecossistêmicos que as florestas tropicais fornecem para o mundo devem ser remunerados de forma justa e equitativa. Os produtos da sociobiodiversidade devem gerar empregos e renda e oferecer alternativas à exploração predatória de recursos naturais. Esses são os pilares do plano de transformação ecológica que lançaremos em breve. Para que nossa integração econômica e produtiva floresça, será preciso ampliar as conexões marítimas e aéreas entre os dois lados do Atlântico. É inexplicável que ainda não tenhamos voos diretos entre São Paulo e Joanesburgo, Cairo-Dakar, essenciais para o aumento do fluxo de pessoas, comércio e turismo. É muito pertinente a proposta do Conselho Empresarial dos BRICS do estabelecimento de um acordo multilateral de serviços aéreos do grupo, contando com as principais autoridades nacionais de transporte de aviação. Os BRICS têm uma chance única de moldar a trajetória do desenvolvimento global. Vocês, empresários, fazem parte desse esforço. Nossos países reunidos representam 1/3 da economia mundial. Essa relevância vai crescer com a entrada de novos membros plenos e parceiros do diálogo. A colaboração entre o setor público e privado é vital para aproveitar esse potencial e alcançar resultados duradouros. Muito obrigado e boa sorte.
Obrigado. I thank His Excellency President Lula da Silva. Our next speaker is the President of the Russian Federation, His Excellency President Vladimir Putin, who, while he's not able to be with us, will address us via video. I now ask that the video recording be started.
Уважаемый президент Рамафоза, дамы и господа, дорогие друзья, рад приветствовать представителей государственных структур и бизнеса, экспертов и отраслевых специалистов, которые собрались на встречу делового форума в рамках БРИКС. Отмечу, что регулярное проведение таких деловых форумов, как и системная работа делового совета БРИКС, объединяющего ведущих бизнесменов и глав крупнейших компаний стран пятерки, действительно играет большую практическую роль в продвижении взаимной торговли и инвестиций, углублении кооперационных связей, расширении прямого диалога предпринимательских сообществ. А значит, на деле способствует ускорению социально-экономического роста наших государств и достижению целей устойчивого развития. Важно, что в центре внимания форума находятся такие актуальные задачи обеспечения постпандемийного восстановления экономик государств БРИКС, повышения благосостояния граждан, модернизация промышленности и выстраивание эффективных транспортно-логистических цепочек, стимулирование справедливого трансфера технологий. Решать все эти сложные, комплексные задачи приходится на фоне все более углубляющейся волатильности фондовых, валютных, энергетических, продовольственных рынков. В условиях значительного инфляционного давления, вызванного в том числе безответственными действиями ряда стран по проведению масштабной эмиссии для сглаживания издержек пандемии, что провоцирует накопление частного и государственного долга. Серьезное негативное влияние на международную экономическую ситуацию оказывает и нелегитимная санкционная практика, незаконная заморозка активов суверенных государств. А по сути, попрание всех базовых норм и правил свободной торговли и экономической жизни, которые еще не так давно оказались незыблемыми. Прямым следствием этого стали дефицит ресурсов, усиление неравенства, подъем безработицы, обострение других хронических проблем мировой экономики. Взвинчиваются цены продовольствия на базовые сельхозпродукты и зерновые культуры, от чего страдают в первую очередь наиболее уязвимые и бедные страны. Важно, что в таких условиях государства БРИКС усиливают взаимодействие, и наша совместная работа по обеспечению экономического роста и устойчивого развития приносят конкретные осязаемые результаты. Сообща запускаются все новые инфраструктурные и инвестиционные проекты. Растут товарные обмены, расширяются отраслевые контакты. Главное, мы сотрудничаем на принципах равноправия, партнерской поддержки, уважения интересов друг друга. И в этом суть устремленного в будущее стратегического курса нашего объединения. Курса, отвечающего чаяниям основной части мирового сообщества, так называемого глобального большинства. Цифры говорят за себя. За прошедшее десятилетие взаимные капиталовложения государств-членов БРИКС увеличились в 6 раз. В свою очередь, их инвестиции в целом в глобальную экономику выросли в 2 раза, а совокупный экспорт достиг 20% от общемирового показателя. Что касается России, то наш торговый оборот с партнерами по БРИКС прибавил 40,5% и составил рекордные более 230 миллиардов долларов. А в первом полугодии текущего года, в сравнении с аналогичным периодом 2022 года, он вырос на 35,6% до 134,7 миллиарда долларов. Отмечу и то, что доля стран объединения, в которых проживает более 3 миллиардов человек, достигла в мировом ВВП почти 26%. А по паритету покупательной способности пятерка обходит группу 7. Прогноз на 2023 год 31,5% против 30%. Набирает силу объективный, необратимый процесс дедоларизации наших хозяйственных связей. Предпринимаются усилия по отработке эффективных механизмов взаимных расчетов и валютно-финансового контроля. Как результат, доля доллара в экспортно-импортных операциях в рамках БРИКС снижается. В прошлом году она составила всего лишь 28,7%. К слову, В ходе нынешнего саммита мы еще подробно обсудим весь спектр вопросов, связанных с переходом на национальные валюты по всем направлениям экономического сотрудничества «пятерки». Безусловно, большая роль в таких усилиях принадлежит новому банку развития БРИКС, который уже уверенно заявил о себе в качестве альтернативы действующим западным институтам развития. Логично, что одним из приоритетов взаимодействия «пятерки» в целом стало укрепление взаимосвязанности, создание новых устойчивых транспортных магистралей. Особое значение в этом контексте имеет инициатива делового совета БРИКС по выработке современных интермодальных логистических решений и развитию железнодорожных транспортных коридоров. Со своей стороны Россия активно переориентирует транспортно-логистические потоки на надежных зарубежных партнеров, в том числе из государств БРИКС. Среди наших флагманских проектов Северный морской путь и новый международный транспортный коридор Север-Юг. Эти две сквозные артерии призваны обеспечить кратчайшие и наиболее экономически оптимальные торговые пути, связывающие крупные промышленные, сельскохозяйственные и энергетические узлы с потребительскими рынками. Говоря о Северном морском пути, подчеркну, что в России принят и реализуется масштабный, рассчитанный на десятилетия план обустройства его инфраструктуры. Предполагается строительство топливных терминалов, портов-хабов для стыковки с автомобильным и железнодорожным транспортом. Расширяется ледокольный флот, прежде всего за счет не имеющих аналогов в мире судов на атомной тяге. В свою очередь, транспортный коридор Север-Юг соединит российские порты на Северных морях и Балтике с морскими терминалами на побережье Персидского залива и Индийского океана. Тем самым будут созданы условия для увеличения грузоперевозок между евразийскими и африканскими странами. Кроме того, вдоль этого самого коридора, естественно, будут развиваться новые производства, объекты торговли и логистики. Россия выступает за налаживание более плотного взаимодействия в рамках БРИКС по вопросам надежного и бесперебойного обеспечения мировых рынков энергетическими и продовольственными ресурсами. Мы последовательно наращиваем поставки топлива, сельхозпродукции и удобрения в государства глобального юга. Вносим весомый вклад в укрепление общемировой продовольственной и энергетической безопасности, в решение острых гуманитарных проблем, в борьбу с голодом и бедностью в нуждающихся странах. Все эти вопросы, в частности, подробно обсуждались в ходе недавнего саммита Россия-Африка. Так, в прошлом году торговля агропродукцией между Россией и государствами Африки выросла на 10%. В принципе. С учетом упомянутых фактов мы с 18 июля отказались от дальнейшего продления этой так называемой сделки и будем готовы вернуться к ней. Но вернуться только в случае реального выполнения всех обязательств перед российской стороной. Неоднократно говорил, что наша страна в состоянии заместить украинское зерно как на коммерческой основе, так и в виде безвозмездной помощи нуждающимся государствам. Тем более, что у нас в нынешнем году вновь ожидается отличный урожай. В качестве первого шага нами принято решение безвозмездно направить 6 африканским странам по 25-50 тысяч тонн зерна, обеспечив в том числе и бесплатную доставку этих грузов. Переговоры с партнерами завершаются. В числе приоритетных направлений взаимодействия видим и дальнейшую координацию подходов участников БРИКС по тематике поддержки малых и средних предприятий. Это важная часть общей экономической повестки пятерки, подразумевающая содействие самым широким слоям занимающихся бизнесом граждан. Вопрос.
Administrative and tax regulation, digitalization, electronic commerce, and participation in the value chains. I would note that thanks to the state support programs, the entrepreneurs from the BRICS countries successfully adapt to the constantly changing situation in the global market. They find new partners, new sales channels, attract additional funding, and use more actively modern technologies. It is equally significant to continue to develop cooperation within the BRICS countries in the field of decarbonization of economy, reduction of man-induced impact on the nature, and adaptation to the changing of climate. Russia is ready to work jointly to promote more balanced approaches to the climate change in the international arena. Our country is consistently implementing the National Low Carbon Development Strategy. We plan to reach the carbon neutrality of the Russian economy not later than 2060, including through the introduction of technological innovations, modernization of infrastructure for access to affordable and clean energy, conservation of ecosystems on land and sea. We believe that the implementation of the climate goals can be facilitated by a variety of technologies, including those that have been in use for a long time already, such as nuclear generation, hydropower, gas motor fuel. To sum it up, I would like to reiterate that the multifaceted partnership and cooperation within the BRICS is not only makes a significant contribution to ensuring sustainable growth of our states, but also generally promotes the healthy global economy and successful achievement on the global development goals and targets set by the UN to fight poverty, expand people's access to quality health care, eradicate hunger, and improve food security. Therefore, I'm confident that the BRICS Business Forum and Business Council will continue the creative work aimed at the improvement of contacts between the entrepreneurial circles of the countries of the Group of Five and joint implementation of mutually beneficial projects. In conclusion, I would like to invite representatives of the business circles to our countries to come, to the Eastern Economic Forum in Russia that will take place in 10 to 13 September in the city of Vladivostok, where by tradition there will be discussion of issues that are of interest, including the business community of the BRICS countries. Thank you very much for your attention.
Spasibo. I thank the President for his remarks. It's now my pleasure to invite the Prime Minister of the Republic of India, His Excellency Prime Minister Modi, to take the podium. Please join me in welcoming the Prime Minister.
Excellencies, leaders of BRICS business community, my namaskar, good evening to you all. I am glad that immediately after arriving in South Africa, our very first engagement is the BRICS Business Forum. First and foremost, I thank President Ramaphosa for his invitation and for organizing this meeting. My heartiest congratulations and best wishes on the 10th anniversary of the BRICS Business Council. In the last 10 years, the BRICS Business Council has played a vital role in enhancing our economic cooperation. In 2009, when the first BRICS summit was held, the world was just coming out of a massive financial crisis. At that time, BRICS emerged as a ray of hope for the global economy. In the present times also, amongst the COVID pandemic, tensions, and disputes, the world is dealing with economic challenges. In such times, once again, the role of BRICS countries is important. Friends, despite volatility in global economy, India is the world's fastest growing major economy. Very soon, India will become a $5 trillion economy. There is absolutely no doubt that in the coming years, India will be the growth engine of the world. And the reason for this is that India has converted crises and difficulties into opportunities for economic improvements. In the last few years, we have carried out reforms in mission mode, and these reforms have helped in continuously improving ease of doing business in India. We have also reduced the compliance burden. We have removed red tape and instead laid the red carpet. There has been a boost in investor confidence due to introduction of GST and the implementation of the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. Areas such as defense and space that were considered restricted have today been opened up for the private sector. We have laid special focus on public service delivery and good governance. By leveraging technology, India has taken a massive leap towards financial inclusion. The maximum benefit of this has reached our women in rural India. Today, with one click, millions of people in India get direct benefit transfers. So far, more than $360 billion of such transfers have been made. This has increased transparency in service delivery and reduced corruption and middlemen. India has the cheapest per gigabyte cost. Today, in India, from street vendors to large shopping malls, all use UPI, that is, the Unified Payments Interface. Today, India is the country with the highest number of digital transactions in the world. Countries like UAE, Singapore, France are also joining this platform. There are several possibilities of working on this with BRICS countries also. The large-scale investment being done on infrastructure in India is changing the country's landscape. In this year's budget, we have kept a provision of approximately $120 billion for infrastructure. By way of this investment, we are laying a strong foundation for a new India of the future. Rapid changes are coming into effect in all areas of railways, roads, waterways, and airways. Today, in India, new highways are being constructed at a speed of 10,000 kilometers per year. The number of airports has doubled in the last 9 years. We have implemented the production-linked incentives with an objective to promote investment and production, with logistics costs reducing. The manufacturing sector of India is becoming competitive. India is amongst world leaders in the area of renewable energy. We are taking active steps to make India a global manufacturing hub in areas such as solar energy, wind energy, electric vehicles, green hydrogen, and green ammonia. It is but natural that with this, India will become a huge market for renewable technology. Today, India has the world's third largest startup ecosystem. There are more than 100 unicorns in India currently in areas such as IT, telecom, fintech, AI, and semiconductors. We are moving forward with a vision of Make in India, Make for the World. All of these efforts have directly had a positive impact on the lives of common people. In the last 9 years, the income of people has increased approximately 3 times. Women's participation in the economic development of India has been significant. From IT to space, from banking to healthcare, women have worked shoulder to shoulder with men and are contributing to the country's progress. The people of India have resolved to become a developed nation by 2047. Friends, I invite all of you to be a part of India's development journey. The COVID pandemic has taught us the importance of resilient and inclusive supply chains. For this, mutual trust and transparency are extremely important. By bringing our strengths together, we can make significant contributions to the welfare of the world, especially the Global South. Excellencies, once again, I congratulate the leaders of the BRICS business world for their contribution. I also thank my friend, President Ramaphosa, for his excellent arrangements for this meeting. Thank you very much.
I'd like to thank the Prime Minister, Dhanyavad. Thank you. We now have a statement by His Excellency President Xi Jinping, President of the People's Republic of China, which will be delivered by Mr. Wang Wentao, the Minister of Commerce of the People's Republic of China. Please join me in welcoming Minister Wang to make the statement on behalf of President Xi.
Thank you, Minister Patel. It is my great honor to read out the remarks on behalf of His Excellency Xi Jinping, President of the People's Republic of China, at the closing ceremony of the BRICS Business Forum 2023. Your Excellency President Matemala Cyril Ramaphosa, members of the business community, ladies and gentlemen, friends, I wish to extend my warm congratulations on the success of the BRICS Business Forum in South Africa. 10 years ago here, in South Africa, we BRICS leaders witnessed the birth of the BRICS Business Council. Since then, the Council has stayed true to its founding mission. It has seized opportunities to deepen cooperation, contributing to economic and social development of BRICS countries, and helping sustain global economic growth. Right now, changes in the world, in our times, and in history are unfolding in ways like never before, bringing human society to a critical juncture. Should we pursue cooperation and integration or just succumb to division and confrontation? Should we work together to maintain peace and stability or just sleepwalk into the abyss of a new Cold War? Should we embrace prosperity, openness, and inclusiveness, or allow hegemonic and bullying acts to throw us into depression? Should we deepen mutual trust through exchanges and mutual learning, or allow hubris and prejudice to blind conscience? The course of history will be shaped by the choices we make. An ancient Chinese thinker observed that following the underlying trend will lead one to success, while going against it can only cause one to fail. We humankind have achieved notable economic development and social progress over the past decades, and that is because we have drawn lessons from the two world wars and the Cold War, followed the historical trend of economic globalization, and embarked on the right path of openness and development for win-win cooperation. Our world today has become a community with a shared future in which we all share a huge stake of survival. What people in various countries long for is definitely not a new Cold War or a small exclusive bloc. What they want is an open, inclusive, clean, and beautiful world that enjoys enduring peace, universal security, and common prosperity. Such is the logic of historical advance and the trend of our times. 10 years ago, I made a proposition of building a community with a shared future for mankind, calling on all countries to build this planet we all call home into a harmonious family. In the face of high winds, choppy waters, and even treacherous storms, we in all countries need to uphold the correct views of the world, of history, and of our overall interests, and act to translate the vision of a community with a shared future for mankind into reality. We need to promote development and prosperity for all. Many emerging markets and developing countries have come to what they are today after shaking off the yoke of colonialism. With perseverance, hard work, and huge sacrifices, we succeeded in gaining independence and have been exploring a development path suited to our national conditions. Everything we do is to deliver better lives to our people. But some country, obsessed with maintaining its hegemony, has gone out of its way to cripple the emerging markets and developing countries. Whoever is developing fast becomes its target of containment. Whoever is catching up becomes its target of obstruction. But this is futile, as I have said more than once, that blowing out others' lamp will not bring light to oneself. Every country has the right to development, and the people in every country have the freedom to pursue a happy life. With that in mind, I have proposed the Global Development Initiative with the goal of promoting development for all by the international community and boosting the UN 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. With the support of many countries, solid gains have been made in pursuing this initiative, with cooperation flourishing in various fields. China will work with all other countries to speed up cooperation under the Global Development Initiative, strengthen drivers of global development, promote the reform of the World Trade Organization in a comprehensive and in-depth manner, meet common challenges together, and make life better for people across the world. We need to achieve universal security. Recent years have seen a turbulent world. Many countries and regions are plagued by wars and conflicts, and many people are displaced. Members of the international community share the pressing hope to eradicate the root cause of conflicts and wars and find a fundamental way to realize enduring peace and security globally. Facts have shown that any attempt to keep enlarging a military alliance, expand one's own sphere of influence, and squeeze other countries' buffer of security can only create security predicament and insecurity for all countries. Only a commitment to a new vision of common, comprehensive, cooperative, and sustainable security can lead to universal security. Last year, I put forward a Global Security Initiative, and it has gained support from over 100 countries and international organizations. China stands ready to jointly pursue this initiative with all others. We should have dialogue and oppose confrontation, forge partnership but not alliance, and pursue win-win outcome and oppose zero-sum game, and work together to build a community of security. We need to stay committed to exchanges among civilizations and mutual learning. One flower alone cannot make a beautiful spring. Only blossoming of a rich variety of flowers can bring spring to the global garden. Human civilization is colorful by nature. It is precisely because of their differences in history, culture, and system that all countries need to interact with each other, draw on each other, and advance together. Deliberately creating division with the assertion of democracy versus authoritarianism and liberalism versus autocracy can only split the world and lead to clash of civilizations. I've put forward the Global Civilization Initiative, calling for promoting diversity of global civilizations, the common values of humanity, and people-to-people and cultural exchanges and cooperation. China welcomes all other countries to get involved in cooperation under this initiative. We should encourage different civilizations to bring out their best and flourish together. We should break barriers to exchanges and renew human civilization. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, as an ancient Chinese philosopher observes, change is the nature of the universe. The collective rise of emerging markets and developing countries represented by BRICS is fundamentally changing the global landscape. Emerging markets and developing countries have contributed as high as 80% of global growth in the past 20 years, and their share in the global GDP has increased from 24% 40 years ago to more than 40%. Just as a line in the Chinese poem reads, "No mountains can stop the surging flow of a mighty river." Whatever resistance there may be, BRICS, a positive and stable force for good, will continue to grow. We will forge stronger BRICS strategic partnership, expand the BRICS Plus model, actively advance membership expansion, deepen solidarity and cooperation with other emerging markets and developing countries, promote global multipolarity and greater democracy in international relations, and help make the international order more just and equitable. The gathering between BRICS countries and more than 50 other countries in South Africa today is not an exercise of asking countries to take sides, nor an exercise of creating bloc confrontation. Rather, it is an endeavor to expand the architecture of peace and development. I'm glad to note that over 20 countries are knocking on the door of BRICS. China hopes to see more joining the BRICS cooperation mechanism. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, China stays committed to an independent foreign policy of peace and the building of a community with a shared future for mankind. As a developing country and a member of the Global South, China breathes the same breath with other developing countries and pursues a shared future with them. China has resolutely upheld the common interests of developing countries and worked to increase the representation and voice of emerging markets and developing countries in global affairs. Hegemonism is not in China's DNA, nor does China have any motivation to engage in major power competition. China stands firmly on the right side of history and believes that a just cause should be pursued for the common good. At present, we Chinese, under the leadership of the Communist Party of China, are advancing the great rejuvenation of the Chinese nation on all fronts by pursuing Chinese modernization. Chinese modernization aims to achieve common prosperity, material and cultural ethical advancement, harmony between humanity and nature, and peaceful development for a huge population. Chinese modernization has created a new form of human advancement and presented a new future of modernization. We hope that other developing countries and draw on the outstanding achievements of human civilizations and find their own paths to modernization in keeping with their national conditions. Achieving high-quality development is a top priority in China's goal of fully building itself into a modernized country. We are committed to applying a new development philosophy and creating a new development paradigm. In the past decade, China has contributed more than 30% of annual global growth. This year, the Chinese economy has maintained the momentum of recovery and growth. China enjoys several distinct advantages: a socialist market economy in systemic terms, a supersized market in terms of demand, a full-fledged industrial system in terms of supply, and abundant high-caliber labor force and entrepreneurs in terms of human resources. The Chinese economy has strong resilience, tremendous potential, and great vitality. The fundamentals sustaining China's long-term growth will remain unchanged. The giant ship of the Chinese economy will continue to cleave waves and sail ahead. China will remain an important opportunity for the world's development. Our door is wide open to anyone who wants to engage in cooperation with us. As a supersized economy, China will remain firm in advancing high-standard opening up. We will continue to expand market access, cut the negative list for foreign investment, and further open the modern services sector. We will steadily improve the business environment, provide national treatment to foreign investing enterprises, foster a world-class market-oriented business environment governed by a sound legal framework, and build a globally oriented network of high-standard free trade areas. We will continue to advance ecological conservation, accelerate the building of a beautiful China, actively and prudently move toward carbon peak and carbon neutrality, and pursue all-round green transition in economic and social development. Going forward, as it endeavors to achieve modernization for its more than 1.4 billion people, China will surely contribute even more to the global economy and provide even more opportunities for the global business community. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, a formidable mission is a magnificent and glorious mission. As long as we work in unity and strengthen cooperation, we will not be intimidated by any risk or challenge on the way ahead, and we will surely steer the giant ship of human development to a brighter future. Thank you.
Xi, I wish to thank President Xi Jinping for his remarks and to Minister Wang for delivering it on His Excellency's behalf. We've now heard the views of 5 heads of state, views representing more than 40% of the world's population. Their Excellencies too have heard the reports from the business community of the discussion you have had today. Ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the close of this session. I want to thank very sincerely the heads of state, their Excellencies, for the time, for the insights, and for the comments that they've made. The heads of state will leave the stage now, and we say farewell to them as they proceed to their next meeting in what will be a busy few days. I ask that you join me in saying thank you to them as they take leave of absence from us.